How's it going, guys? Last time I made a video about God of War was pretty much the reveal when will be the new Game Plus mode coming up, and it's the 20th. It's actually today it's out, so that's good. And regarding as well, the news I really wanted to talk about is actually about Suhei Yoshida. If you don't know who he is, he's pretty much the president of the Sony's, the PlayStation worldwide, and he's pretty much the president. He's the big deal. So first of all, he has tried out the prototype of the God of War when it was in the makings, and he tried it out. He's seen it. He was not very impressed. So this is what they say and about it. So the very early prototype was rough. SIE WWS, the president Suhei Yoshida played it and left horrified without saying anything to Cory Barlog. The first prototype featured low frame rate, terrible visuals, and no axe throwing and recalling mechanics. So after that, the second prototype was tested again by Suhei after improvements were made, and it was at this point that Yoshida started to liking it. Cory Barlog wanted the world serpent to be bigger in scale since the original design was smaller. The tech team was worried about this change, and so Atreus was the brainchild of Cory, and he wanted him to be a companion in the game. The development team strongly opposed it. I also talked about Atreus' AI was considered a tough challenge by the AI programmers. The lead AI programmer even took the Cory to visit Naughty Dog to show how they faced difficulties during creating an AI for Ellie in The Last of Us, and to prove that it might be hard for God of War. But Cory was adamant in putting this in the game. Thank you, Cory. Seriously. In God of War, when you clear a certain story segment, the water level rises to reveal new locations. This was an afterthought, and they had to deal with a lot of issues when trying to implement it. They didn't have a dedicated UX design, so that UI looked off with a smaller text. No, it was just later patches after the launch that was actually, fixed pretty much. An early version of the game had a human enemies, and they had voiceovers for them as well. It was all removed once they were replaced with mythical creatures. This disappointed the scriptwriters, who had to scrap their work. In the early prototype, Atreus only followed Kratos and didn't feature his own individual pathfindings. And Cory wanted him to be intelligent enough to stay on the screen, but there were bugs and issues that resulted in Atreus sometime being off camera. There was a huge concern regarding how the God of War would be a cinematic with a more up-close camera. Cory faced a lot of oppositions to his vision. One team member even said that he was ruining the franchise. Oh my god, that's far-taking. They settled on a live demo at the E3 2016 and kept it a secret inside the studio, but only telling about it to select few people to prevent early leaks. Cory worked on a vertical slice of the E3 and played it for a month to make sure he doesn't mess it up on the stage. He was still afraid of issues leading to the eventual reveal that thankfully played out perfectly. Cory said, "Good producers play a vital role in the successful development of the good game. He was always broadens the scope of things, and his studio would get unhappy as they have to implement it." So it's really is pretty much in look of this. Also, I should probably mention that, did you know that God of War was supposed to be, firstly anyway, was supposed to be an Egyptian mythology instead of the Norse, but it looks like they've changed it around to go for the Norse mythology. And it's pretty cool the way the fact that it's something different as it was initially thought. And there's actually as well some concept images that was for the Egyptian of the God of War, but it has a similar with his son and stuff. So he, I'll show you the pictures, guys, and you can take a look. And as you're seeing it right now, and you can see that somewhat it's kind of interesting. Like his son Atreus, I believe so, would have been just white hair, and it's interesting, more hair, I guess. Kratos is actually somewhat the same with the beard and everything, with the red lines over him. Well, tattoos, I believe so it was. And yeah, it's pretty cool to find out more about this, because at first it was actually, Kratos was actually supposed to be an Egyptian, going to Egypt of the history of the mythology anyway. But this time they went over to Norse. I'm not arguing about this because I think that both of these concepts and both of these ideas and visuals is actually very fantastical, and it's just like an Egyptian or Norse one. And I think that everyone else is more familiar with the Norse because of the Marvel movies, Thor, just Thor and Loki and stuff. Obviously, I think people had a lot more interest into that as of that time anyway. Well, anyway, I'm not talking about it as if they're not interested now, but still. Anyway, well, tell me down in the comments what do you think about this. It's pretty cool to find out more things about this God of War in the behind of the development. As you can see as well, as you have seen, I should probably say, that you've seen a couple of the prototype footage of the God of War. Hopefully YouTube will allow me to have it and show it off. But it's pretty cool, I gotta admit. Like, it looked a little bit rough. It looked good at the further on the development, but then, as it was mentioned at the beginning, it wasn't very good. And I think that's pretty cool to find out little things like this. How the hell did they get this done? It's pretty fantastic. Anyway, I think I'm done for today. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe as always. And yeah, have a good one, guys. Really appreciate you just sticking around my channel, liking, subscribing, all that good stuff. I'll talk to you guys later.